This video is about how to set up your Mac to do development the way I do. What do you have to have installed and how do you do that? So before this point, I have gone into Safari and downloaded Chrome and installed it. And then I've updated my Mac OS and adjusted the settings for the mouse and the display. And I've downloaded Zoom to start this recording. You also will see in a minute that I've gotten rid of most of I shouldn't say gotten rid of, I've taken out of the dock most of the apps that come with the Mac. So just going to clean things up so that mostly the apps that you see in the dock are the ones that we use.
All right, well, let's start by downloading VS Code. And now Git. Which apparently has to be installed through Brew, which you get through from the terminal window. So I don't have Brew, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get that. Let's forget this step. I'll speed up this section in parts because it gets a bit boring. Okay, let's get Node.js. Want to get MySQL. We actually want the community edition. And SQL Workbench. Okay, Docker is next. Okay, FileZilla, client, that is. Source tree. I like to use a GUI for code commits and history reviews. It's just easier to understand and see what's really going on. And now Insomnia for manual API testing. Let's see how our Git installation is going. Back to where I left off on the VS Code install, now that it's downloaded. On the Mac, you install applications by moving the DMG file over into Applications folder. A little different from the PC. I need Docker Desktop so that I can compile and test the Docker images locally. We can delete anything that we're not actually using anymore. Install source tree. MySQL Workbench. All right, let's get the DigitalOcean Doctal tool. Off camera, I had to reinstall Brew and Git. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it just wasn't installed. So the Mac has a handy package called the Git Credential Manager. Much better experience than on Windows. Okay, we'll clone the Family Santa repository. Unless I can find it. What's the address? Uh, I installed it in the wrong directory. I have to move it into the project directory. We run npm install in order to download the node dependencies for this project. All right, let's get into Visual Studio Code. And we'll sync it up with my existing profile. I don't need any additional color themes, so I'll skip that. Let's get MySQL up and running, and we'll configure it. Put in a password. And we'll get MySQL Workbench set up. Log into our local instance using the password just set up. And we go get the setup files and get the database configured, initialized. Let's clean up the desktop. I'll run the initializations off camera. ConfigDB is looking for two environment variables, SantaDB user and SantaDB pass, so we need to set those up. Command-Shift-Period will show the hidden files. We're looking for the .bashrc file, which gets run when you start the terminal, which will set the environment variables. Well, there was no bashrc file, so I have to make one. And you just basically export the variables, and then I like to have a little ready statement kicked out to the console, letting me know it's ready. Obviously, I'll fill in the values off camera. Actually, on the Mac, it has to be a .zshrc file. So in this case, I'm having one file call the other file. I forgot to record downloading and installing Terraform, but other than that, that's all that there is.